Hello, and welcome back, most illustrious members of the Detail. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, friends and enemies of any, all, or no genders. I am your host D, also known as MtF DOOM on Marvel Snap. And today... Wait a second. This isn't Marvel Snap at all. What is this? This is Legends of Runeterra, friends. This is Legends of Runeterra. It's my current obsession. It's the game that I've been playing instead of Marvel Snap. And today, I'm going to do a deck tech. I'm going to talk about why I'm playing this game instead of Marvel Snap. I'm going to do some gameplay while I talk about all that. And I'm going to reveal my face. So stay tuned for all of that. I hope that you enjoy. So just before we get into it, as always, a big thank you to everyone who checked in during my month-long hiatus. Everyone who asked to have this video done. I probably wouldn't have made this. I have other content I want to work on. It's going to be more like political stuff, kind of like the Final Fantasy VII video. It is what it is. It's what I find interesting and meaningful, but I still fucking love card games. So, like, we're just going to do some card game stuff some of the time. I've tried recording this video a couple of times so far, and I keep running into the same issue, which is that trying to front load all of the reasons I like it into a sort of like checklist leaves a lot to be desired from someone who like doesn't know how to play, and trying to give an explanation for what the game is like in a moment-to-moment basis doesn't give a lot of the nuance of why it's a good game. And so ultimately I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start doing deck techs on this game. If you're here from Marvel Snap and you see something you like and you're like, oh, this looks cool, reach out and ask a question and I can help you get started. If you're here because you want Legends of Runeterra content, hopefully this is just what you want to see. You just want, like, it's just going to be cool content. So, all that being said, I guess I do owe you something that I promised in the intro, so here it is. Hello, it's nice to meet you. I'm Meat D. Nice to meet you. Yeah, so let's get into it. Today's deck is going to be this one. It is a Morgana Riven deck. It is the slightly it's the slightly mid-range side of aggro. It is an aggro deck. We're capping out at 6, and the 6 drop is a way to burn our opponent out and get rid of a potential defender. So it is, you know, it is really on the aggro side, but I think it has a little more mid-range than some of the other decks. And I really, if you know me, you know I love, like, just sort of fair. I love playing fair Magic, right? I love Jund style decks if you play Magic. I love the bounce deck in Marvel Snap because you were just sort of like doing a very straightforward thing. Your opponent could understand what you were doing, but you were just like doing it really well and getting value off of it. So the two champions, I feel like we're going to start by outlining the champions. Again, if anyone has a better format for how to present this information, let me know. But this is what I came up with after a couple of attempts of trying to go in order or whatever. We have Morgana. Her whole thing is that you want to target units. It doesn't matter your units or enemy units. In this deck, we're doing a little of both, but we're erring towards our own units because our other champion is Riven. So we're going to get a lot of these, the blade fragments, and each one counts as targeting one of our units, right? They're tiny little buffs. They're temporary buffs, but they only cost 1, and they don't really cost us a card because our cards are generating these cards. So they're sort of like freebies for targeting purposes. We're not going all out on the Reforge. We might, I mean, we could up our Reforge very slightly, but I'm not super worried. We're hitting our Reforge target and leveling up Riven, who, by the way, is just a really good 3-drop, right? Just a solid 3/4 no matter what. If you level her up, she's even better. Obviously, that goes without saying. They're all better when you level them up. I don't know why the fuck I would point that out. But yeah, like, she's not the strongest champion in general, and she works really well in conjunction with Morgana. Everything else here is just sort of like the cards you would expect from mostly an aggro deck. Again, like, you know, Transfusion, Might, stuff like that. We have a couple more curses with Ichor. We don't have any curse synergy necessarily. We have Morgana for cursing with Shackles, but because it's our only Shackles effect, no, we have Dark Binding. But because we're kind of light on the Shackles effect, and it's coming down fairly late in the game, we're not really relying on it to get our damage through. We're mostly relying on our Overwhelm stuff, you know, our ability to reforge, our ability to give Overwhelm, whatever. And the reason for that is that there's a lot of self-sacrifice decks running around right now, and Shackles in general is really bad against them, because it's okay, cool, then I'll sacrifice it. Even fight cards can be really bad. If you shackle something, they're like, okay, well, I'll just have it fight your creature and die. I don't care. Like, it can still fight while it's under shackles. So yeah, that's it. It's a pretty aggro mid-range deck, but I do think it falls more on mid-range. Like I said, we're gonna jump into some gameplay. I hope you enjoy. Okay, Teemo Yuumi is in general not a great matchup, although this is a pretty good hand for dealing with that particular deck. If they get Teemo on 1, we're like a little sad, although we can challenge it on 2 with RuneSquire. Yep, that's fine. If you don't know the game, because I do want to give some context for people who don't know. See, our opponent has this little sword over here on the right. That means that they get to attack this turn, but it's not like they get a whole turn and then we get a whole turn. We take turns using all of our mana or resources. You know, they get to use some of their resources, then we get to use some of ours, then they get to use some of theirs, and then they get to decide if they want to attack, and we get to decide if we want to block. We do, because we want this to die. But, oh my god, Legends of Runeterra. In my recordings, I keep saying, like, League of Runeterra, or, like, League of Legends of Runeterra. Legends of Runeterra solves the... how do I say it? The go first problem the most elegantly of any game I've ever played. Well, I mean, they're gonna block, but let's let them block. It would be a mistake for them not to. But we don't have to force the challenge to, you know, we can let them try to make the mistake, basically. What's the phrase? Don't interrupt your opponent while they're making a mistake. Nexus Strike, create a prank? That's fine. Why don't we I think Spell Shield's going to be fairly important here. And I think I want it, as silly as this might look, on my Challenger, because we don't have a lot of ways to interact with Evasive. What we want is a Challenger that can stick, and yeah, we don't want to cast those. A Challenger that can stick is resilient to the spell. Oh, god damn it. -2 power and vulnerable. Oh. Yeah. I kind of thought that's the one they were going to pick. Okay, well, that's notably worse. Basically, we needed a way to interact with their elusive creatures, and we did not get it. So, well, we did, but we got. I guess our next best bet is to disable their positive keywords, so that at least on their turn we can do it on this turn. But when they do, okay, that's fine. I think am I on board with disabling those keywords? I might not be, actually. I might not be just yet. This is tough. Evasive creatures are really really bad for us. Let's give Overwhelm to our Fire Spitter this time. And we're gonna have to pass again. If we had gotten the +2... No, we still couldn't attack. That's only 5. We might have been able to. Oh, Lord, that's not great. Okay, so we're gonna start with disabling that one's... So they can still hit us for 2. And they're very likely going to. And then we will... Reforge is fine. We want to hold up Pale Cascade. Just for the draw 1. Very likely. That's... Okay, cool. So, we will Pale Cascade that literally just for the draw 1. It's fine. And for the fact that it targeted something. They're going to prank us. We're just hoping that we have enough cards that they miss the Fire Spitter. They did. That's good. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we do have Fire Spitter this turn to kill one of the Kelp Maidens and then hopefully challenge the other one. But we'll see how that goes. We'll see if that's a viable option. You can see this deck, like I said, it airs on the side of aggro, and you can tell because I'm constantly using basically all of my mana, where our opponent has been storing up some of their excess. Oh. Deal 1 and 1. Wait. Oh, they increase the damage. Okay. Alright. You know what? I think I'm okay with that. We'll swing in because they want to Perilous Pastry. Oh, we had no mana up. I think that was a mistake of them to not block, but... Oh, I guess they don't want to Perilous Pastry our 3-1. And now we have... Oh, fuck. Alright, well, they attacked first, which, you know, makes a lot of sense. It's what they should have done, and then they did it, so that's good for them, bad for us. We'll get this out of pastry range, and then just silence that, so they could fuck off. They could be done with that. Not super worried about either of those. And then we will Riven, and then we can open with all of the blade fragments next round. And they're all focus speed, so our opponent can't respond to them. Which is good, but I don't know that it'll be enough. Although, with a burst speed cascade, it might be. Alright, so we have Overwhelm, Quick Attack +2. I think we have to play... all 3 different fragments, I'm pretty sure is how it works. I don't think I've ever had double fragments, because I usually use them faster than this. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're fine with that. We're fine with all of that. So we're gonna go Quick Attack here. And, no, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. We'll go Overwhelm. I didn't want to give +2 to Riven just yet, because I might want to use the Reforged Blade on her, and that would give her an additional... +2 if it was the first buff I gave her. And I think it will be. So I should have... That's going to give Overwhelm anyway, basically. Or a Quick Attack anyway. So... That's a slow spell, though. That gives them the ability to do something, and I don't know that I love that. Let's just go in. Let's just attack. See what they do. They might just be dead. Deal 2. We can save it and draw a card. Does that do it? This is a slow spell. They can't do anything with that. What else they got? Another Perilous Pie. Okay. That's... You know what? I think I'm okay with all this. It's not the best, but I still think it's better than having committed the blade early and given them a chance to play something out. Although, is that true? They don't seem to have anything. I think that still puts us in an okay spot. Ooh, that puts us in a very good spot. I think they're priced in to picking the heal off of this adventurer. And I think the heal is not that good for them. So we're going to shackle... I guess we'll shackle this. Because it's elusive and we're so low, we're at 4. I don't want to risk them being able to burn us out. I don't know what they would have to do that, but they had the thing that gave +1 attack. And the fact that they're playing... Yeah, okay, see? So we did that so they had to spend 2 extra. Yeah, okay. And then their plan was to pastry us, but now they can't. Perfect. Or they could pastry us and set us to 3, but then they can't unshackle the Octo Traveler. And I think they're, again, I think they're priced into unshackling the Traveler. But maybe not. Yeah, okay, they are. Because otherwise they would definitely be dead. But I think they're definitely dead anyway, just off the fact that Morgana's going to curse one of them with an opening attack. And deal 2 to their face. So they can't block with this. They can block with that. But I don't think they can stop all 3 of these from hitting them. But maybe. That would be very bad for us. But all right, we got it. We got it. So there it is. Close game. Good job, opponent. But we got there. We got there in the end with our mid aggro deck. All right. I think that's going to be it. Just because I'm introing this game to potentially a lot of new people who are coming here from Marvel Snap. And there's a couple other things I wanted to talk about. And this is a great time to do so because that win gave us the next thing on our board. So, again, like the Season Pass in Snap, there's Season Passes here. Of course, there are. I'll say Legends of Runeterra is way better about just giving you stuff. It's like it can be really hard to compare, right? Because it's like, oh well, what is the comparison of gold to gems to like prismatic cards, which are like foils or like splits in Snap? Like, well, you could get this for free in Snap while getting packs, and like it's not 1-to-1. So the only way that I can like describe it is that like up here, this number here represents like how many cards I could potentially craft. And this number represents like any deck that I want from a new set, like 1 deck, possibly 2 every week, just for playing. You get this, it's called the Vault. It's like the reward system for free-to-play players is second to none. I genuinely, like, other than Penny Dreadful on Magic Online, which you can literally actually play for free, this is the most, like, charitable free-to-play model I've ever seen. And even if you decide to be like a micro spender like me and spend $10 on a season pass, the passes last way longer. Like there's 74 rewards on this pass as opposed to like, I think it's 50 on the Snap Pass. And then you can get like minor rewards after that. And they're like just like more useful. I again, like it's hard to quantify because it's different. You know, oh, well, it's not like 100 gold is worth this many gems or this many cards or whatever. But like the fact that free-to-play players cannot keep up in Marvel Snap, you will never be able to always have the newest cards at all times, is like a bummer. It's a bummer to me. I like having the newest cards. I like trying things out. I like experimenting. And then another like sort of final note is, again, in Snap, and this is one of the things that drove me away from that game. It was pretty often that you would get like not just sweeping changes to cards, which were also sweeping changes to archetypes because a single card could define an archetype, but like the way they did it was pretty often like okay, if you remember Shuri, the Shuri scandal. Shuri was a card that was inaccessible to most players, and they have a system basically the rarity of a card goes down over time. So like a card that's champion rarity in this game, when it releases, would eventually go down to like common rarity given enough time. But they did this thing with one of those cards that was basically champion rarity, where when it went down to common rarity, they nerfed it because now it wasn't a chase card. Like, oh, okay, everyone can just have the card. We're gonna make it worse though. We're gonna make it worse. And they've done that a couple of times now. And one of the things that I just want to talk about quick is that while buffs and nerfs are a thing in this game, what happens way more often is that, like, okay, let's look at Dragon Dead Ass. Last season, Shyvana was not a super good card. She was fine. Like most of the champions see some use, and very often your ability to play a deck, at least up to like the fairly high echelons of gameplay, will be way more important than how like strictly powerful any one card is or any one champion. But the thing is, pretty often, okay, Shyvana was kind of underplayed last season and maybe like the season before, although I think she was okay then. But like, she didn't get buffed. New cards just got put in that made her archetype better again. This card, Elder Dragon, because it's a dragon and it rewards you for playing like other sort of beefy dragon boys, Shyvana just became better without actually needing to be buffed. Like, her archetype just came back into rotation and is like a very competitive archetype right now. Like, this card is suddenly good again, and it didn't require any kind of numbers balancing at all. And I think that that's such a fucking cool way of going about making cards like viable again. I think that's so cool. And for me, like, I loved this deck, Samira Akshan, and like, it did get nerfed, right? And for what it's worth, Akshan kind of fell out of the... Samira certainly fell out of the meta, but Akshan kind of fell out of the meta. But like, Morgana got printed, he's back in. My boy's back. Akshan is good with cards that want to target cards. Like, he just is. So Morgana was a perfect pair. Like, this isn't a tier 1 deck, but like, I love Akshan enough that I'm really good with this deck, and I have fun with it. And I feel like that is something sorely missing from so many games, is that sense of just fun and feeling like empowered to play theoretically suboptimal decks. And you're not like that in this game. And that's the other thing, is you're encouraged and rewarded for trying new things. You always have the, if you play fairly regularly, you always have the resources to try new things. And yeah, I really recommend it. I hope you enjoyed today. And as always, a special thank you to the following people: The Tiny Ruby, A Frog in a Tent, Clips, Crayon Eater, Cole D, Polyhaze, Satorius, Demisi, KD, Diston Nelson, and Matt Backey. This channel wouldn't be possible without all of you. This video wouldn't have been possible without some of you. A huge thank you to everyone who's still engaged, who's still here, and let's see what the future holds. I hope you have a great day.